Hello and welcome to the second video on HTML tutorials. In the previous video we have seen some of the very basic aspects and we are going to learn about the tags. In previous video I had talked about tags. I've used the term tags, but I have not talked about that or explained them in details. But in this video we are going to discuss tags in details, and in the practical session we are going to see how to use tags, how to use tags to design a particular web page. So let us look at the agenda of today's session. The first thing that we are going to learn is what are tags, the basic thing that we are going to see. The next thing that we will see is that how to use tags, then some of the examples of these tags, and then the difference between HTML3 and HTML5, which is a very obvious topic in web designing world. We're going to see what are the differences. And finally we're going to talk about doctype HTML tag. This is an example of tag, but why I have separated this out, because it has some importance in web page designing. So to understand that, I have separated it out as a different tag, and I will explain it in details. So let us begin with what are tags. Now tags are hidden keywords. They are hidden keywords within a web page that define how your web browser must format and display the content. Content may be text, a video, an image, an audio. So these are the the tags actually help you to display them properly in your web page. But we cannot see these tags in an HTML web page. We'll not be able to see tags in the web page, but in the code we will use these tags. Now most of the tags have two parts, an opening part and a closing part. For example, this tag, you can see that we have two angle brackets and HTML written in it. This is the opening tag. And whereas this, an angle bracket and a front slash HTML, is a closing tag. What are the differences between an opening tag and a closing tag? An opening tag marks the beginning of some content, and a closing tag marks the end of that particular content. And in the syntax you can see clearly that the opening tag doesn't have any front slash, whereas the closing tag has got a front slash. Whereas there are some examples of tags which do not need any closing tag, only an opening tag is enough to make the web browser understand the requirement that that particular tag needs to perform. So let us proceed to the next topic, which is how to use tags. We have seen this in the previous slide, that the opening tag is actually placed within these angle brackets, and within the angle brackets we have the name of the tag, whatever tag it might be. So this is the opening tag. A closing tag, it is generally a angle bracket followed by a front slash, then the name of the same tag and closing angle bracket. Now those who are familiar with coding, any type of coding, you know that programs are actually placed in block forms. So these tags are also to be placed in forms of blocks. And those who don't know what are these blocks, I'll make it clear when we will see an example of of an web page today. Now here are some of the examples of HTML tags. Here we have the doc type. Its purpose is to define the type of document. Then we have the HTML tag, which defines the document to be as an HTML document. Then we have the header tag or the head tag, which defines the information about the document. Then the title defines the title of the document. Body defines the document's body. H1 to H6 defines the HTML headings. You know, the headings that we use in HTML, you see in a web page, are actually used, are, are designed using these tags, H1 to H6. I mean, it is not this kind of a tag, it's H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, H6. Each of them has some different weightage in the size of the font and the boldness of the font. We will see it when we will talk about text formatting in the next video. Next we have the P tag, which defines a paragraph. Then we have a BR tag, which means a break tag. Next we have a HR, which defines a thematic change in content. And this angle bracket within which we have that exclamation mark, two hyphens, and then the comment, and then two hyphens, and then the closing angle bracket. This defines a comment. You know, these three dots will be replaced by your comment that you want to make about that particular line that you have written in your code. Remember, comments are never assessed or never read by the compiler or interpreter. They are simply neglected. They are only used for better readability of your program so that you can understand your program while designing easily. Let us proceed. Now, the difference between HTML3 and HTML5. Now, in the previous video, I have told you that XHTML was not that hit, but HTML was a hit. Then why was HTML3 or HTML4 was updated after well over a decade in 2014? If you want to know that the timeline of HTML, you can check my previous video where you can find out that HTML, the first version of HTML was in 1999, 1998, 1999, during that period, and after that, in 2014, HTML5 was upgraded. HTML was upgraded to HTML5, that is HTML5 was launched. Now the most significant difference is that in the olden versions of HTML and HTML5, the integration of videos and audios into the language was not possible. In earlier versions of HTML, this integration of video and audio were not possible. But in the HTML5 versions, we can easily integrate our videos and audios. Next, we have some elements which have been dropped intentionally because they are also present in, CSS. They can be maintained by CSS. So without increasing the weight of HTML5 and having same elements in both HTML and CSS, they have decided to put new elements in HTML and to remove all those elements which are already present in CSS. So therefore, this center, font, strike, these have been dropped or deprecated from HTML5. Now they have also improved the rules to allow more flexibility and compatibility of a program, of your web page design, of your code, of your web page designing. Some new elements which includes video, time, nav, section, progress, meter, aside, and canvas. Canvas is a place where you can draw, you can draw your own thing, in your web page. Video, you can assemble a video. Time, you can see the time in your web page. And these are some other progress. It is a progress bar, which you see while a page loads. New attributes including email, URL, dates, and times have also been included, which is well understood. New attributes including charset, async, and ping. These attributes have been added. What is charset, what is async, and what is ping will be discussed later on when we talk about these things, while we talk about text in HTMLs, how to write, how to use text in HTML to build your content of your web page. Now, new APIs that offer offline caching, drag and drop support, and more has also been included. Now, a very good example of drag and drop support is that when you send an email to your friend, suppose you want to send a say a Word file, MS Word file to your friend via email. So what you do is that you press on the button compose, and then a pop-up appears from the bottom, and there you have another button which goes by the name attach file. You click there, and then you browse that particular Word file that you want to attach to your email. You click that and you open that, and that gets attached to your email. Now, in HTML5, because of HTML5, you can do one more thing. You can go to the destination of your web, of the place where you have kept that Word file. You can drag and bring it and drop it on the pop-up box which has opened in the which has opened below. And if you leave it there and if you drop it there, then it will automatically be attached. You don't have to browse the file. So this is one of the attributes that has been brought in HTML5. Gmail uses this attribute. Now some of the vector graphics are also supported without programs like Silverlight or Flash. Previously we had to use Flash player, in web pages, to watch a video or play a short game online. We had to have that Flash player or Silverlight in our web browsers. We had to install that, but nowadays you don't have to. Automatically the videos are played, right? Next we have a support for MathML, which allows us to display better mathematical notations. JavaScript can run now in the background because of the JavaScript web worker API. I'm sorry, I said Java. It is JavaScript can now run. Java and JavaScript are totally entirely a different thing. Next we have the global attributes such as tab, index, repeat, and ID can be applied for all elements. We can use these, the index, repeat, ID. These things can be used in for all elements of these HTML of an HTML, code, the tags that we use. And finally, the last slide of our theory session is the most important part of this video, according to me. That is the doctype HTML tag. Now we have already seen that doctype actually helps us to identify the type of document, and HTML identifies the document as HTML. So you have understood the meaning of this tag, right? Now remember one thing, that the doctype declaration must be the very first thing in your HTML document. The doctype declaration is not an HTML tag. Remember that this is not an HTML tag. It is an instruction to the web browser about the version of HTML the page is written in. In HTML 4.0.1, the doctype declaration refers to the DTD, which is the document type declaration, because HTML 4.0.1 is based on HTML, which is based on DTD. The DTD specifies the rules for the markup language, so the browser renders the content correctly. This DTD specifies the rule how this markup language should arrange the text or content in your web page, and according to that the web page does. Now to make the web page understand to use DTD, this doctype HTML is used in HTML 4.0.1, whereas in HTML5, which is not based on HTML, therefore we do not require the reference of DTD over here. In HTML5 we don't require this DTD reference, but always remember we need to add this doctype declaration to our HTML document so that the browser knows what type of document to expect. So this marks the end of the theory session. So let us proceed to the video session. So we will do our video session in Sublime Text 3. I prefer using Sublime Text 3 because it is more, so let me save it as, say practical session 1.html. Alright, let us remove the spaces and let us make it a camel case, shift and a number, and let us save it. Alright, so next thing that we need to do is we need to put an HTML tag, and in Sublime you see when you press enter, this doctype thing comes automatically, and whatever things are required comes along with it. Now what is a head? It actually is the header. Now whatever CSS styling and scripting you do using JavaScript is placed in this header tag. Now what is title? The title is the title of your web page. Say if I say A B C D is the title of my web page, and if I save it, alright, so I have it saved over here, practical session 1, and if I open it, you will see the title to be ABCD. Alright, if I open it with, say, another browser, say Firefox, you will see that the name ABCD appears over here. See, it appears over here. I have added no content, so no content is over here. So title is the title of your web page. Alright, next, what is the task of the body? It will contain all the things that are to be present in the body of your HTML page. Suppose I want to print my name in the body of the text. So I write no space Shanal and I press Ctrl S and it has been saved. And now if I open it, you will see no Shanal is written in this part. Head is this, body is this, is the rest of the part. Alright, so this is how you use these things. Now these are the tags. Now there was a term called that the tags should be used in block forms. Now what are blocks? Now suppose I take the screenshot of this page and I open up Paint, and if I show it there, you will understand it better. Alright, select the pencil option. Now see over here, look at the tags properly. We have title over here, right? I mark it, I draw a line between these two. Alright, then what do we have? The head. I put the head and it opens over here and it closes over here, right? We have the body. It opens over here, it closes over here. Then we have the HTML. It opens over here and it closes over here. Now have you observed one thing? That these tags don't intersect, they are always parallel. Like it started over here, it didn't end over here. The these openings and closings are happening in this manner. They're not happening in this manner. They're not crossing each other. So this is called the block forms. So this is what we mean when we say blocks. Now if we don't use blocks, then what will happen? Our code will be a completely erroneous one. Suppose I remove the title from here, alright, and I use it over here, alright, then I use this one and I put it over here. So what will happen then? See, they are crossing. The HTML starts over here, it comes and it ends over here. But the body, it crosses the HTML and it comes over here. It intersects. The two lines intersect. So they are not in block forms. So let me save. So what the output should have been? It should have only printed on null. So let us see what it prints. It prints on null, but have you seen that the title is something else? But it is supposed to be like that. Say I name the title ABCD over here. Okay, after the title I press ABCD, alright, that as the title of the page, and I save the file and I open it again. Look, the head, the head has a different name now. So this is what happens. Your page will have some flaws if you don't follow the modular parts. I mean the small things, you know. So these are some of the basic aspects of the HTML tags. Next day we will create a web page. Alright, we will create a biodata of a person. Alright, we will create a biodata of a person using HTML, and we will see how it is done using the different text formattings that we have in HTML. So till then, go on practicing, and I'll record the other one and post it as soon as possible. Thank you for watching, and please see the next video, which is a continuation to this.